Hi folks, Jonny Matthew here again. Welcome to episode 4 of Troubled Kids Soundbites. Today we're talking about chapter 3 of the book. We've talked about respect and we've talked about trust in 2 videos, which are the foundational elements really of good engagement and of working with kids towards change. So now this brings us on to chapter 3 of the book, which is about motivation. So just thinking really about the kinds of things that drive us to do these really challenging and complex roles that we all have in working with troubled children and young people. So here's a question for you. What was it that got you out of bed this morning to do this really tricky job that you do? Maybe you're a foster carer, or you work in youth justice or mental health or in residential work. Perhaps you work in a secure unit or a prison, or you're a police officer based in a youth offending team, or whatever it might be. If you're working with troubled kids, it will be a challenging day, almost certainly, at work. So what got you out of bed this morning? I think this is really important to think about, because what motivates us will drive ultimately what we do, but more crucially the way in which we do it. And that's really important in this whole idea of relational working with troubled kids. I'm not sure exactly what brought you to work today, but I wouldn't mind betting it wasn't the money, because probably there isn't enough of that to merit the challenge that was waiting for you when you got there. Maybe it was the buzz, maybe it was just the love of it. But in this chapter, what I'm driving at really is to encourage us all to stay in touch with why we do what we do. So to kind of establish our why, what motivates us, to articulate that and distill it into something that we can hang on to, that we can remember, that we can remind ourselves of, and as we progress through our careers and our work, that we can refine further to make us better at what we do. So I then go on to talk a little bit about some not so good reasons, or some poor reasons really, to work with troubled children and young people. And I've got kind of 3, I guess, in mind. One is just to pay the mortgage, that it's a job and ostensibly that's all it is. And I'm saying I don't think that's a really good reason. You need conviction, you need passion, you need drive, and above all perseverance to be good at this kind of work, and to be embracing and trustworthy, believable and credible in such a way that children who are postured already to mistrust adults can actually make a link with us that they can hook into and use as a catalyst for change. And I don't think doing it to pay the mortgage alone is going to cut the mustard with that. The second reason is that this is not a job that we can do well, I believe, or should do in order to meet kind of personal needs in us. We've all got things that we're dealing with. We're all still a long way short of being perfect people and achieving self-actualization, as Abraham Maslow would say. But we're on our way. And I think it's really important for us to not use work with troubled children as a means through which we deal with our own personal issues. We all have strengths and experiences and stuff that we bring to the party, and that's great. And our life histories can really help and augment what we do, and kids will benefit from those experiences, and that's great. But if the job is a way of us coping with our stuff, then I don't think that's a good reason to do the job. I think that pollutes what we do and clouds the waters somewhat in a way that's probably not helpful to the kids, and actually in the end doesn't give us the help we probably really need. So I'm thinking about things like if we have a troubled self-esteem, or we've got misplaced feelings of guilt or anxiety, if we've got issues around parental rejection or depression, if there's identity things going on for us that we bring to work, or if we're just dealing with really difficult personal stuff at the moment and life is a challenging situation, we need to be really careful that we boundary that But I think if it's a long-standing issue that is our issue, we need to be really honest with ourselves and quite self-reflective about whether or not that's a good reason to do the job that we're doing. I then go on to say that really, well, if there are these reasons, whether it's to salve our own conscience, whether it's to meet our personal needs or just to pay the mortgage, if they're not really brilliant reasons to do what we do, what is the reason that we do the work that we do? Or what's an okay reason? Now, we all have detail in our motivations of why we do what we do, but here's what I believe is the key reason. It's that we care for these kids. It's that we give a monkeys about them. It's that we moved on from attaining a professional status, wanting to satisfy ourselves educationally, progressing through maybe certain jobs that have brought us to where we are now. But there is something intrinsic to who we are that requires us to work with these kids because we care about them. So on top of our education, on top of our self-discipline and our reading and research and our self-reflection, that actually what drives us is the fact that we are motivated by a genuine caring instinct for these kids. So I unpack that a little bit, and in the chapter talk quite a bit about it's good to reflect for a while and establish why we do what we do so that we can really hang on to that. So there you go, motivation, number 4 in our series of Troubled Kids Sound Bites. If you'd like more information, you can whiz across to johnnymatthew.com/book, and you can get some more information about the book there and join an email list if you want more information about it or get through to the publishers. But in the meantime, have a think about why you do what you do and grab hold of it tight, because it can be a rocky journey and it's good to have that to hang on to. So bless you, I wish you well, keep going, and I will speak to you very soon about our next chapter in the Troubled Kids Soundbite series. Until then, cheers.